Hello and welcome to all of you astrology friends out there. This is a very short video, but for all the signs, but I'm going to talk about the Mercury retrograde, and that is going direct again. The Mercury is going direct around and about the 18th, 19th of January, depending on where you're living. There is going to be the Mercury in Capricorn at 8 degrees. That is, especially around the 18th, stationary and then going full speed again. So what does it mean? And in particular, what does it mean for your sign? Now, I've been talking about this in the monthly horoscopes of December. So if you want to know the area of your life where you have this energy of the Mercury retrograde, check out those videos. I know it's a bit outdated, you could say, but there's still some information about certainly if you're interested in astrology. But that aside, let's have a look. What kind of flavor is this Mercury retrograde? When we have a Mercury, which is the planet of communication and thinking, and when it goes backwards and forwards, it means reassessment time. And when we go back, when this went retrograde, we are around and about the 30th, the 31st of December. So the very end of 2022, we had this Mercury around 24 degrees of Capricorn, conjoining with Venus and very close to Pluto. So you could say Mercury just didn't touch Pluto. It went backwards. So you already hear me coming that the flavor of this Mercury retrograde, which is in Capricorn, which is the flavor of structures. It's about things that we build. It's about quality that we want to build. That this is under a very Plutonian kind of energy. Because of when it went retrograde, it was very Plutonian. And now as it goes direct, again, it's very Plutonian. And why is that? Because around and about the 18th of, within a couple of days, I'm recording this on the 16th, the sun is approaching Pluto. So the same point where, I'm getting a very Plutonian voice here now, very dark, and hopefully very sexy. But anyway, that's the other side of Pluto. But so the sun is going to that spot where Mercury went backwards. So this is a very Sun-Plutonian kind of Mercury retrograde. And that is a very interesting aspect. And later on, after, you could say, around and about the new moon, the sun and the moon will be together, also very close to Pluto. It is in Aquarius, though, at 1 degree or something, but it's still very close to 28 degrees where Capricorn, where Pluto is. So again, sun conjunct, moon conjunct Pluto around and about the 21st of January. And then we have around the 10th of February, we have Mercury conjoining with Pluto for the first time and the last time of that year. So it shows a very Plutonian concept here of, especially in Capricorn, it is where our power is. Pluto, when it transits somewhere, it shows where we have power. But first, especially when it enters the sign or it enters the house in our horoscope, it shows where we feel no power at all. So let me tell you a little bit about this before I go to all the 12 signs, because that is going to be a quick run through the signs here, because this is more important, this energy. We are invited here with the Mercury retrograde, and especially when it goes direct, things go full force on. And that means that we will have transformational Plutonian power in our hands. So if we use it right, we can transform all our lives for once and for all. So there's no way back when we do that. Because Pluto is the planet, you could say, of the underworld. It's the planet of transformation. It's the planet of authenticity. So when something is not real anymore, and especially, in your horoscope, when you have transits of Pluto, it shows like an old structure needs to go. And so a new one and a better one can arise. You know, they talk about the phoenix that arises, which is Pluto. But we tend to forget that we first have to demolish something. And that is what has been going on since December, the whole month of December, basically, and certainly still the whole month of January and the part of February, because of all these Plutonian kind of energies that we are having here. Now, Pluto is not all about destruction, just for the destruction. No, it is there to, for the soul, you know, to evolve and to progress into something that is more truthful. That is what is Pluto all about. Pluto is not going to take away something from you that still serves you for your soul purpose, so to speak. No. That's not what Pluto is going to do. But Pluto is going to do it when the time is right. And that is astrologically seen here, that we all have an area of our life where the structures, Capricorn, is not so good. Where, whether it is in your first house, second house, it doesn't matter. There is a structure there that you have lost your power, or you have given away your power. And now we have an opportunity. I say an opportunity because we have free will. We can let this Pluto transit just, you know, this Mercury retrograde, just let it go and not do anything with it. But then we will have another opportunity that is a bit more forceful. That is how the universe works. If we don't understand our patterns, or we understand them, but we don't feel the strength to deal with them, we just wait for the next time. And but it will have to be addressed someday. So this is a lot of that energy now. We have soon Sun conjunct Pluto. It's an aspect that's very dear to me because I have it in my natal chart, Sun conjunct Pluto, and I know a lot of people with Sun Pluto aspects, which is not rare if you have a Sun conjunct Pluto in your chart. But the thing is that it's a very, very it needs a lot of consciousness, so to speak, to get the best out of this transit. Let's put it that way. So we all have an area of our life, if we are not going to be conscious of it, because Pluto is associated with psychoanalysis, so to speak, so that we do actions triggered or actually motivated by the unconsciousness. So if we don't know our unconscious life, we are going to be surprised, and others even more, probably. So if we don't want that, if we want to know the unconscious, then this is the time. Why? Because the sun, which is light, puts a light on the darkness, which is Pluto. It's the sun together with Pluto. It's like the darkness versus the light that is coming together. And people in a natal chart who have this, like me and many, many others, people who have that in a natal chart, they are forced in their life, whether they like it or not, to meet their darkness, to look at it, you know, because the light is going to bring it up anyways. And a conjunction means internal. It's not going to happen because of a person outside of you, like in an opposition, who triggers you or anything. No, it comes from within. So we all are going to feel our shadow better than ever. And instead of running away from it, I would not recommend to do that. Just look at it. Look at it, whatever the shadow is. You know, it can be a big shadow, it can be a small shadow. Whatever that shadow is in that area of life, look at it. And the shadow has to do with your power, because that's the opportunity. The opportunity is that there lies a superpower just in front of you, but you will have to transform the darkness. Otherwise, it will not work. So otherwise, you go under with the darkness, so to speak. So let me give you an example. Like I have this, for instance, on my midheaven, which is work, which is career. And my goodness me, I think I can't think of a better example of what I'm doing with my work here. I'm trying to put a light on people's darknesses. And when they are in the dark night of the soul, and when they are at crossroads in their life, I'm trying to give them consciousness about the shadow side of themselves, So that instead of running away from that shadow, just transforming it and using that energy for something constructive and something good. And that's my life work. I need to do that because I've been there as well. And that gives me purpose, right? Which is also, you could say, the midheaven, which is your, what you deliver to society, so to speak. And but the thing is to first of all see what is the shadow. And with the Mercury retrograde, that has definitely helped, because Mercury is the planet that goes, up and down into the underground and back into the light. So it's not scared of that. It wants to see the good, the bad, and the ugly. So this Mercury is helping us to see where our darkness is, our shadow. This is shadow work, you could say. To give you an example, my own life, not that I find this so fantastic, but I attract a lot of clients who have been gone through what I've been gone through. And that is when it comes to their career, they're in a career and they're not really living, right? They are doing it because they are doing it for the wrong reasons, you could say, but it's easier said than done. And then they feel like an awakening when they're having this Pluto transit, and they need to go for more authentic work, like I did. I used to work in the corporate world, and I felt powerless. I had no power at all in that corporation. I tried, and I say that with a smile on my face, but I really, really tried to, do the things that I wanted to do them, and how I wanted to do them, and how I thought they were the best. But it took me years and years and years to understand that I was giving away my power, which is Sun Pluto in an, you could say, unconscious way. But then you get a transit, and when I got that transit, I was already in my 40s. Can you imagine when I shifted, when I became an astrologer? And so I had that opportunity, and I did that. But my goodness me, I was slow. I was slow in the comprehension of it, and if the understanding, the confidence, which is also the sun. It has to do with confidence, and it has to do with showing who you truly are. But there's a big fear of that, with Pluto on that. So this is an example that a lot of Pluto is associated with fear, fear of, in this case with the sun, of expressing who you truly are. So a lot of people are going to feel that. But the trick of that is to acknowledge it and to understand it, where this is coming from, and also to find the courage and the confidence to transform that and to do it your own specific way. But the confidence needs time to grow. And it has had time here through December, because this is a rather fast transit here of the Mercury retrograde and so on. So it had time now, and now it's on its peak for the transformation. So for those of you who have worked hard on skills as well, confidence comes from within, you could say, also from other people, of course, from the universe, if you like, but it also comes from competence. And especially in Capricorn, it comes from if you are, for instance, in a relationship or in a job that you are saying, this is not me anymore, and I know it's already dead, but I'm still dragging it along with me. Work on those competences, work on those traits, skills that you will need for the new life. So in my example, for instance, when I was acknowledging that this job that I was doing was not the job of my life, Sun and Pluto has to do with purpose. It has to do with, I want to be someone special, and so on and so on. I want to be someone of meaning, which is not bad at all if you're doing it in a positive way. So when that was going on, I had to have skills to do the new job, which was astrology. So I read all the books that I could get, and I watched many YouTube videos, and I did everything that I could grasp to understand astrology better. And so that is the skills that I'm talking about. So where is it that you know that you need to get an upgrade, and a huge one? You need to transform. You need to demolish something. But at the same time, you need to work on those skills for that new life. It is also associated with some sort of an action. And guess what? Mars is going direct from last week. So it shows that actions are now easier to do. So what an interesting pocket of time that we have in an area of our life where we can create more power, when we can create more authenticity. So what doesn't work, and what is very tempting with the Sun Pluto, is manipulation. And is like, oh, this is my goal, I'm going to do everything to get the goal, even if it's like, yeah, you know, not really, you could say, it's really dark what I'm going to do, but I'm going to do it anyways because I have a goal. That's the downside of Sun Pluto, but it will fire back, especially with the Sun conjunct Pluto. It will fire back. Don't forget that what you exude, one day you'll get it back. But with Sun Pluto, it's like instantly. It's like instantly that you are seeing what you're doing. So remind you of that with manipulation or trying to control things, which is the pitfall of Pluto. Control, it's the negative side. It's when we stand above that and when we align ourselves with the divine, with the universe, with God, if you like, if you want to name it like that, then the strength comes in. And then, I mean, Sun Pluto people, they are the most strong-willed people. And when they're standing above their own will and aligned, they can move mountains. They really can. And so can you. Because you know this now. You know that this energy is available, so use it in the positive way. So let's have a look at where this area of your life is in that position of where you might have given away your power and you want to gain it back, more authentic, very quickly. For Aries, this is happening in your 10th house. So there's something about your career that you don't feel that you are empowered anymore, or you don't feel that you have any power there. You feel just powerless. But it is all about letting go of something what is not working for you. So a lot of Aries people are transitioning when it comes to their work. And it's difficult to let go of something that you have, you know, that has served you for so many years, for instance. But now is the time. If you do so and you work on your skills for the future, you can really, really make that shift. So that's that. It's your public life for sure for you. Take your power back. Make it more your own. Show who you are, who you truly are. If this is not about work, if you're saying, Veerle, what the hell are you saying? I'm 78 and I don't work anymore. Then this has to do with how you want to show yourself to the world. What is the energy that you want to exude? The energy that you are exuding is also something that you give to the world. And there is a shift there as well happening. For others, it's about parents. There could be, because the axis of the 4th and the 10th house is a parent. So there could be a parent or a boss that is demanding of you, unconsciously, you could say, or consciously, that you change and that you get that upgrade. But it demands from you a tremendous amount of surrendering, of letting go of that old structure over there. So for some young people, it could simply mean that they go to college and they go to university, they go to somewhere where they leave the home, so to speak, and start and they find their own authenticity. It can be something like that as well. Whatever it is, this is crucial. And especially if you are an Aries that have planets around 10 degrees or around the very end of around 24 degrees. Taurians, for you, this is not so dramatic. Why? Because it's happening in Capricorn, which is a fellow earth sign. And this is happening, this reconstructing in your 9th house of the higher mind. So this is all happening in your mind. Your mindset should be shifting, you could say. Well, I hate to say should, because that is with like a finger, but a lot of Taurians are feeling that the old way of thinking is not working anymore. So this is about your power as well. You're having a superpower presented to you in your life through the way that you think and view life. So there need to be you need to make a shift here. How you view life, how you viewed it in the past, and how you want to do it in the future, and using skills to do so. Now, the ninth house is the house of study. So study if you have to, learn if you have to, travel if you have to. That is a very, very good way as well. As we travel, we get out of the comfort zone. Unless we go to always the same spot. That is not really what I mean. What I mean is just going into the unknown. And then you are more in a state of surrender, and magic happens when that happens. So for you, it's a lot about your the things that you say to yourself, your mindset on a higher perspective, and the alignment that you get with the divine. So you are invited here to get a very powerful connection with nature, with the divine, with God, if you like, so that when you're setting steps in your life that you do want to change, that it is possible and that you can do it. And for sure you can if you have the right mindset. For Geminis, this is happening in your 8th house. So the 8th house is a very scorpionic kind of house. And for you, this whole transformational energy is in the house of life and death. So there is a lot of this energy that, first of all, you need to let go in order for you to get on with your life in a more fresh kind of way, you could say. The 8th house is the value of other people. So there is some sort of a letting go of what other people value of you, so that you find the confidence to feel your own power. It's also the transformational power in itself that is tested here. How much can you allow yourself to transform? And in the right way, in the most positive way, in the most constructive way for your future. So it can also have to do with finances, so that there is the truthfulness of your finances, and the more, you could say, being aware what's going on around your finances and how that affects you. So deep transformations there coming up. It could be inheritances, tax returns, investments, and all of that. Certainly do it the right way, with this Pluto. Do it, and with the Sun as well, because the Sun and Pluto together, they tend to bring up what is hidden. So make sure that you do it with the most integrity that you have. And it can be a bit of an ego death, that you have to say goodbye to your old ego in order to go on. So do that, because you're going to get rewards out of that, certainly. And also intimacy. This is the house that is all about intimacy and vulnerability. It's about, with that one particular person, to be vulnerable there and to show what you're all about, to show the weaknesses, or you could say the tendency of, look, I feel vulnerable here. And to be able to do that, again, that demands a bit of an ego that going on there, but it will enhance the relationship. And with enhancing, I mean, there is a clearing up there. So either, if you will have to split up, you will have to split up, but that will be a small percentage for people like, for Geminis, people like you, for Geminis, but it can also, so don't carry on with something that is already dead and you know it. But it can also mean an upgrade if you do that vulnerability there, if you show it. And it's going to strengthen you. Cancerians, this is super important for you, because this is your relationships. This is, if you are not in a relationship, let's start with that. If you are single, there's definitely someone catching your eye, and that is showing you all these principles that I was talking about. A very powerful person, a person that is charismatic, and that catches your eye, but that is there to show you something about your own power. So don't give all your power away to this person, whether that is because you are blinded by the light, blinded by the attraction, or blinded because of the manipulation that is going on. This can be very dark if you are not aware of this. So whenever a person in a whether you are single or not, whether you are single or in a relationship, there is a person that has that very strong Plutonian vibe, for better or for worse. It can show you the shadow, which is that person manipulates you enormously, and it all shows. But it also says something about you, that it is time to take your power back because you let that happen, right? And that is the forgiveness that you are giving to yourself so that you can get that upgrade. And you're definitely not lost when you're doing that. On the contrary, it's going to empower you tremendously. It's going to make your relationships way more truthful. So do the best that you can. Also, when you are trying to control another person, it's not going to work. It's not going to work either way. You know, power struggles are very common with Pluto in the 7th house and with all this energy. So see through it, stop doing it, and what the other person is doing is out of your control. But be truthful to yourself, be truthful to your authentic self, and go towards those skills I was talking about. Whether it is a skill of self-care, whether it is a skill of doing relationships in a different way, learn about it so that you can, for your own future and also for the now, grasp that power. And when you do so, you are going to feel so empowered because of your relationships and not feeling disempowered because you are in one. Very important energy. Now, Leos, this is happening in your 6th house for the Leos. The 6th house is the house of your work, your day-to-day work, and your day-to-day routines and your health. So there is something that wants to be seen here. Don't be blind for the things that are happening to your mental or physical health. If you really feel that you are struggling with something, and it is not to say that you are going through, but I mean that when you are already dealing with a health issue that you are struggling with, put light on it. Don't put your head in the sand. Deal with it, look at it, and you could say, accept it. Don't like it. You don't have to like it, but accept it. And when that comes, the transformation is already beginning. And the transformation of who you are is changing. Your identity changes because of that. It's also a time of your day-to-day work and routines, a bit like the Aries people when they have that in the 10th house, that a career or a job could really, really be in that transition time for the moment. So you could really decide not to do the work that you're doing anymore and shifting towards that. That is really scary. But again, make sure that you have the confidence from other people, or first and foremost from yourself and from, you know, the divine, you could say, from the universe is with you. In these times with Sun, Pluto, the universe is with you. Although it might not always go the way you want it to be, and not with even the end result that you want it to be. But the trust, if you trust in that, you cannot go wrong. And also to work on your skills to improve your health, work on your skills to improve jobs. If you want another job and you don't have any skill in it, start doing it instead of dreaming. You know, it can really, really help you in becoming very, very real in that area of your life. Virgos, this is in the 5th house. And because you are a Virgo, an earth sign, this energy goes well with you. So this Capricornian kind of energy is in a trine to your energy, so it's not that bad. But what it shows, the 5th house, it's the house of your heart, so to speak. It's the house of your self-expression, of love, of children, the projects that you do, the hobbies that you do. And there is some kind of a shift happening for you. It could literally mean that a child of yours is transforming, for better or for worse. Normally it's for better, although it's I say normally because that's the Pluto cycle. You know, we evolve. But it's not necessarily the easiest. So it could be like, the typical story could be that you are a parent and you've got an 18-year-old that goes to college or something. And you have to, they're really transforming. They are becoming very authentic and very real, and they go after their own goals. But that doesn't, they're going to study something that you are saying, oh my goodness, that kind of energy. But ultimately, it's for the better. Another story could mean love, when you are single or in a relationship that just has begun, there is some Plutonian ego struggles here going on. And, the thing about control and manipulation, that is not going to work. Again, you can gain here a superpower when it comes to love and when it comes to do things from the heart, but aligned with the divine. So not at all, you could say, not in a damaging way. So be aware of that, dear Virgos, that this transformational energy, although it is a trine, it still demands effort to see it, you could say, because it's Pluto. So for others, this has to do with the transformation of how you used to have fun, and that there is an upgrade that you're getting here to have more fun, basically, and to be more real in the hobbies that you're doing and the things that you love to do, to be more real there and authentic. Librans, this is a very important transit, especially if you have planets around 10 degrees of Libra or 24 degrees of Libra. This is happening at the core of your chart, which is the 4th house. The 4th house is your emotional well-being, first and foremost. Yes, it is also literally your home. So again, I say it again and again, with this Pluto in your 4th house, a lot of you are changing homes, are really, you could say, sometimes literally renovating, literally, and especially the foundations, not renovating like maybe a new window or something, and that's it. No. It's like the plumbing and the heating and really to the core, you could say, the foundations of your house. So you could be doing that in order to get something better, but it doesn't seem like that because everything is under, crap, you could say. But you can build new and better for sure. On another level, so for most of you people, this is about your emotions. This is about your emotional well-being. This is about how you parent yourself, how you nurture yourself. Literally, it could mean a parent as well that is under a transformation process. That could be the fact for you as well. But for most of you, this has to do with the transformation when it comes to your emotions and how you react and how you respond in this way. There is an opportunity to do it in a different way, to do it in a stronger, authentic way. So your power is in how you parent yourself and how strong you are and how you integrate the child in you, which is the 4th house. I'm not going to say anything more than that because it's so clear. The 3rd, Scorpio, it's happening in your 3rd house. So this is a transformation, a superpower, you could say, around communication, around how you deal with stuff on a daily basis with your, you could say, with siblings, with neighbors, with people in the neighborhood, how you want to promote yourself if you have your own business, for instance. This could mean a really, truthfully, totally different way. Also a skill you want to learn, a skill that demands a lot of courage, right? You could be fearing, for instance, to learn something like driving, for instance, a skill like driving, or something that demands a lot of courage to do so. Maybe you're at the age of 30 and for the first time in your life you're trying to you're learning how to drive, that kind of thing, and it makes a transformation because it's going to change your life. You might be able to do a different job, and so on and so on. It all has quite some positive, constructive consequences, this Sun Pluto and this Mercury retrograde in the 3rd house. On a level of not being addressing towards skills, and you could also, if you have your own business, do a new website, creating new stuff on a social media and all of that to become stronger, more authentic, more you and all of that. It could also have to do with connections. The third house is the connections of siblings. It's the connections of people in the neighborhood. That there is one person that there is a drastic change needed, or that person is in a transformational process themselves, and you are giving them a helping hand, for instance, and that transforms you as well. So that could be happening as well. On another level, and probably the most accurate prediction here for most of you, is that it is on the style of how you communicate. There is if you have felt that you couldn't be heard, or what you said wasn't heard, this is the time for you to stand up and to do it. And that means that you will have to be okay with other people not being okay if they hear you talking about something and telling your truth. This is about saying your truth. You're Scorpio, so you know all about this, and you know how much energy it costs at times to stand up for yourself. But then when you've done it, you gain a tremendous amount of empowerment. And that is what is available for you. So do that presentation if you have to. Do that difficult talk with a person if you have to. And it will give you a lot more fresh energy to start all over, or either to get an upgrade and go further. Sagittarians, this is your second house. This is all about your self-worth and your confidence. For some of you, also money, yes. With the Pluto there, it means that you can transform your money, especially when you had trouble with money, when you had problems there. With the Mercury retrograde, it was an opportunity to investigate, to dig deeper what the core problem is, and to do something to improve your skills. If the core problem is you're spending too much, then this Mercury retrograde could have made you really realize that now is a time and an opportunity to change that. Either you find new ways, not necessarily to save more and to save more, but to create more. And so that you can live a way more authentic life that is suited to you and that you feel worth it. So it's a lot about your self-worth. You know, it's so unbelievable that in astrology, the second house is not only money, but also your self-worth, and it goes together. The better your self-worth goes, the better money goes. I've seen it always occurring back when people have transits there in that second house. So it could mean a lot of money because of Pluto, but definitely means a transition there. I'm a Sagittarius rising, and I'm reading about confidence at the moment. And just to know more about it, where it's coming from and how you can build it more. And it definitely has to do with that second house. It has to do with, it comes from what I was just saying to other signs as well. It comes from within, yes, it comes from the universe and from other people as well. But it also comes from the skills and what you're doing to obtain it. If you say, for instance, like, oh, I have low confidence because I think my English is not good, you can take a course to improve that. You can pity yourself and you say, oh, my English is not good, blah, blah, blah. Or you can take a course. So that's the Sun Pluto. It's so determined. It's so unbelievably disciplined that because it wants to reach something that is to your advantage, it wants to spend a lot of energy towards that. That is with the second house, to improve your self-worth. So there is a turning around here, an improving of that, a more authentic of that. Also, for instance, like the second house is also your assets. So it's like when you have like 10 dresses, with that energy there, you could say, oh, I have 10 dresses, but 8 of them I don't like anymore. Put them away, give them away, sell them, whatever it is, and keep those 2 and maybe buy 1 extra dress. That is a bit more expensive. You know, it's Capricorn after all, it's quality. That might be a little bit more expensive, but it's gonna give you that good feeling that you are worth it. And just sell the 8 others And with the selling of the 8 others that you don't wear and don't match you anyways, you can buy a new dress and it's the new you. This is a symbolic example that I'm giving, but this is what's happening with Sagittarians. They find their core, they find their confidence back, and it's bright. And that is your superpower. It's your confidence. It's being able to, you could say, almost manipulate your material world. And with manipulating, I mean in a way that you are aligned, but that you are allowing yourself those assets. Capricorn, this is all about you, especially if you have planets around 10 degrees, or if you have planets around 10 degrees, or what else, 24 degrees. You are going to feel this very, very strongly, because this is all about you. This is, the superpower is you. And that is such a beautiful thing. So especially, again, if you are Capricorns that have a birthday around, let's have a more detail here. So 10 degrees, that will be the ones that are born on the 31st or of December or the 1st of January, and round about that date. Or 24 degrees, that will be around the 14th, 15th, 16th of January. So if you, of course, all Capricorns will feel this tremendously, as there is such an emphasis on you, but you are profiling yourself in a different way, in a more authentic way. So what the whole video is about you. You can listen to all the signs. Why? Because the first house is your life path, which means it's your career, it's your relationships, it's your home, it's everything. So you are one of those who can transform everything. And of course, with step by step and as a process, depending on what you've done in the past, but certainly there is a new you emerging. And it's about, the sooner you understand that the old you, the old securities that you need to give up, it's not easy to do. But it shows that you're on the right track, that you're on the right way, because losing securities around self is actually the beginning of a new path, and it's growth. And I'm not going to spend more words to this. Aquarians, this is happening in the 12th house, the most unconscious house of the horoscope. So this is a bit more tricky for Aquarians to understand what this is all about. This is about your family patterns. This is about the shadow of the family. This is about your own shadow as well, of course, but that you have inherited from generation to generation. This is where you are having blind spots. This is where you do not see. And now with the Sun Pluto, you have an opportunity to see whatever that pattern is, whether it is a pattern of smoking too much, whether it is a pattern of drinking too much, whether it is a pattern of being always in conflicted, toxic relationships, whatever it is for you, there is a light there that shows this darkness, and that has to do with dissolving, and not dissolving, but that has to do with a surrender to the things that are out of your control, and to not feed those demons anymore, you could say, from the past, and to let them go. And that is a very, you could say, a conscious thing to do, but you don't see it. You know, it's very ethereal, or how do you say that? It has to do with energy. So let go of the past, let go of the things that, traumas as well, and things that you didn't have a grasp on. And now as an adult and as a human being in the here and the now, you have that ability to take your power back when it comes to the unconsciousness of you that is actually taking over the conscious life. So a very healing opportunity here for the Aquarians for sure. Pisceans, this is in your 11th house. So the 11th house is all about your friends, but also your goals for the future, the associations you belong to. It's also the groups that you go towards. maybe a group of people that is like-minded. That is all the 11th house. It's a very future house. So there's something about your future that is there, that is really a great big potential. But you need to let go of something else. You need to let go of something that is not working for you anymore. It could be literally need to let go of a friend. It could also mean that a friendship can transform into something else. It can transform into something deeper. It can transform from a friend to a lover. Absolutely, with this Plutonian energy, for sure. It can or it can be a person that is amongst your friends that is going through a very dark night of the soul, and you are assisting them, and that helps you as well. There is something about your friends that needs to be more real, needs to be spoken about. That could be that conversation that you are postponing with a friend. Do it. Especially now, you're going to gain, you're not going to lose. It seems sometimes that we lose, but it's not. Ultimately, if you're going to lose a friend because you speak out, is it a friend in the first place, right? So, and you are going to attract then people who are well more suited to you. On another level, this has to do with goals. This has to do with, what do you want to do for the rest of your life? What do you want to do for the future? So your goals that were old need to go first if you want to implement some new ones. So it's a typical story that I always say, because it's so dramatic, that if you want to be a ballerina at the age of 45, it's a bit difficult. You need to let go of that goal. And maybe you need a new goal. You know, it's that kind of energy that you are having, that you've been clinging on for so long. And if you're going to let go of it, it's going to set you free. But that demands surrendering, and that is a process that you are going through at this particular time. Having said that, thank you so much for watching. Dear astrology friends, thank you so much for subscribing, for liking, for sharing, and all of that. I wish you a very good Mercury direct again on the 18th and 19th, and I see you soon. Bye-bye.